You want the truth? The whole thing? Fine. But I'm telling it from the beginning. Not the fire, not the rooftop. The morning. Because the morning matters. The morning's the last normal I'll ever get. I woke up with the smell of burnt coffee and my youngest screaming about shoes. Emma's 6. She's got that stubborn streak you think is cute until you're 20 minutes late for everything. My husband texted me a photo from the driveway. Emma barefoot, arms crossed like a union rep refusing unsafe work conditions. Behind her, the school bus driver's face looked like she was 1 minute from flooring it and leaving my kid to walk. My oldest, 15 going on 50, didn't say goodbye. Slammed the door on her way out. No love you, no good luck, nothing. Just another quiet little cut to start the day. I'm standing in the kitchen, in my turnout pants and a hoodie, staring at the power bill I forgot to pay. Again. Folded in my back pocket like a hot coal. My husband doesn't even bring it up anymore. He just lets the notice sit on the counter until I see it and hate myself for it. At Station 12, the air smells like diesel, sweat, and a hint of mold from the showers we never get around to fixing. The bay doors rattle when they open, a deep vibration that runs up your legs. Someone left last night's dishes in the sink. Someone else will complain about it, but no one will wash them. Cruz is leaning on the engine, mid-story, telling the probie, kid named Ryan, about his transfer like it's a war epic. Will, my partner, is parked at the kitchen table, coffee mug in hand, eyes half shut like he's praying. It's routine. Boring almost. Safe. That's the point. Safe makes you slow. Safe makes you think you have time. The tones drop at 9:47. Dispatch comes on. Structure fire. Mid-rise. 300 block East 6th. Cross of College. It should have been just another call. Mid-rise, 6 stories, maybe a stubborn kitchen fire, maybe a roof HVAC unit that decided today was the day. I've heard her, our dispatcher, call out hundreds of jobs. She has that rhythm. Quick, but calm. Clipped, but never cold. But this time, there's a pause in it. Not hesitation, not panic. Something else. Like she's reading from a script that wasn't written for her. And she's trimming pieces on the fly, a surgical kind of careful. The bay fills with motion, boots hitting concrete, harness clips clicking into place, air bottles sliding into mounts. The engine growls awake, lights already spinning against the walls. We roll. Sirens hit like a war drum, bouncing off brick and glass as we clear the first intersection. The frame rattles. You can feel it through your boots. That bone-deep hum of weight and speed. And then, out the right side, I see it. A black column of smoke. Not ours, not even close. Way north, too far for us, too fast for another company to be on scene already. It's too vertical, too clean, like something punched straight through the city and kept going. Will's sitting in the officer's seat, half turned toward the windshield. That's not ours. Cruz leans forward from the back, craning his neck past me to get a look. Where the hell's that? Before I can answer, another plume blooms, darker, broader, the kind of smoke that eats the light behind it. We keep moving, but I can feel the cab getting quieter, like we're all trying to listen through the sirens. My mind's already flipping through the map. North side? No, too far east. Could be. Then a third column tears upward. By the time we cross 9th Street, there are 3 distinct pillars stabbing into the low gray sky, none of them anywhere near East 6th. No multiple alarm calls. No chatter from units in those sectors, no maydays, no engine IDs crackling over the radio. Just dispatch again, voice even tighter now, giving our last update. And then silence between transmissions. Not static. Not interference. Silence. Like the whole city's holding its breath. We turn onto 6th, and the building comes into view through the gray wash of morning. 6 stories, brick facade, narrow front entrance choked with old shrubs and decorative railing. A holdover from when someone still thought mid-rise luxury meant anything in this part of Charlotte. The roofline's already bleeding flame in irregular bursts, like something underneath is forcing its way out. Ordinary fire crawls, probes, tests, This one moves with purpose. I can see the glow bending through the smoke like veins under skin. We nose the rig up against the hydrant. Air brakes hiss. The pump operator's out in 2 seconds flat. Gloves already on, hand spinning the steamer connection before the hose even lands. Mask straps pull tight against my face. 1, 2, 3, the seal locking with that familiar vacuum tug. Pass device armed with a quick thumb click. Shoulder radio live, red light blinking. Engine 12 on scene, mid-rise, visible fire top floor, establishing 6th Street Command. I grab the Halligan from the side compartment. Steel's cold even through my gloves. Will's already got the iron set and starts toward the front door with Cruz, the Proby shadowing them like a tethered balloon. We push into the stairwell. First hit of heat wraps my neck. The air smells wrong, not just wood or furniture. Chemical, metallic. It scratches the back of my throat even through the regulator. Sprinklers are running on the lower floors, hissing overhead, puddling underfoot. Steam clings to the walls, turning the paint slick and reflective. Somewhere above, glass pops. The sound is small here, but I can feel it in the stairwell air. 4th floor. We pass an elderly man in pajama pants, coughing into a blanket. Cruz guides him down with one hand, scanning for others with the other. Will's voice in my ear, urgent. Primary still incomplete. Let's move. We climb. 5th, 6th. The roof access door is old steel on rusted hinges. It screams open, and the world changes. Wind slams into me, carrying smoke so thick it smears the edges of everything. 3 separate columns of fire push skyward from different sections of the roof. East, west, and dead center. Each burns its own way. One throws sparks like an angry grinder. One pulses slow and steady. And one spits out rolling chunks of something that don't look like debris. The HVAC units rattle in place, thin metal panels vibrating under the heat. Tar paper bubbles under my boots. I've been on bad roofs before. They talk to you. Groans, shivers. That deep flex you feel more than hear. But this feels hollow, like the fire's not on the roof, like it's inside it. I shift my weight to scan the west column. That's when the roof talks back. Not the drawn-out groan of an overburdened structure, not the popping of joists under heat. A snap, sharp, final. The tar under my right boot caves, and then the deck gives way beneath it. There's no time to catch myself with both hands. My left slams down on the ledge, gloves skidding against grit and bubbling tar. My right grabs at nothing but air and heat. My stomach drops into my boots as the world tilts vertical. Below is death. A street ribboned with glass shards and drifting ash. Sirens echo somewhere in the distance. Not ours. Too far to matter. The heat's worse here, funneled upward through the gap. Smoke claws at my mask, turning the edges of the world into rippling gray. My regulator's hiss feels too loud in my own ears, like I'm breathing inside a drum. I try to swing my right leg up, but the hole's too wide. The deck around it crumbles when I press my boot to it. The cut edge groans, ready to take more with it if I push wrong. Then something moves in the smoke. At first, I think it's Cruz or Will, reaching from the side, but the silhouette's wrong. Too tall, too still. An arm comes through. Blue. Not paint blue. Not fabric. Deep. Alive. Like looking at ocean water when the sun's already gone. Lit from somewhere inside. The surface is smooth but not featureless. Faint lines run under it, glowing like veins of light. They pulse, slow, steady, like the arm itself is breathing. No glove, no turnout sleeve, no visible armor plates, not human skin, but it moves. I can see the subtle roll of tendons under that surface. The micro shifts of something alive. It's cold even before it touches me. The temperature radiates off it, the same sharp cold you get grabbing steel that's been sitting outside all night in January. But this is August, and the fire is feet away. It reaches with precision. No hesitation, no searching. The hand wraps around mine, grip locking in a way that feels both mechanical and organic. Stronger than any human hold I've ever felt. Enough to bruise through my glove without crushing it. And then something happens. Right in the center of its palm, where our skin meets, a point of light blooms, blue. Not blinding, just present. It pulses. The first pulse, my hand tightens around it without me telling it to. The second, I feel it in my chest, like a skipped heartbeat, then a match. It's not shocking me, not hurting me, but the rhythm's wrong, not mine, until it is. My breath falls into step with it, unasked. My pulse matches its beat, slow and deliberate, like it's winding me down into its tempo. It doesn't pull like a human would, no bracing, no grunt of effort. One smooth motion, from hanging over a 6-story drop to standing with both boots planted on solid roof. My knees don't even buckle. And just as my mind catches up to what happened, the hand lets go. The cold stays in my palm, the pulse stops. The blue point is gone, leaving only the memory of where it was. The arm withdraws into the smoke without a sound. No shift of weight, no visible exit. One moment it's there, the next it's not. I'm alone on the roof, except for the fire. The fire never got its under control call. By the time command ordered us down, 2 more engines were pulling defensive streams from the street, and a tower ladder was chewing at the west side with a master stream just to keep the fire from crawling into the next block. Nobody went back to the roof. Nobody asked why I was already down. The med tent was 2 blocks over, wedged between a Dunkin' and a boarded-up vape shop. The air inside was thick with antiseptic and sweat, that cloying heat you only get when you jam too many bodies into a canvas box with portable heaters running full tilt. They checked me for smoke inhalation, blood pressure, concussion. The medic's hands lingered on my wrist, then froze. "What's this?" she asked. "What's what?" She turned my palm upward. I looked, nothing but a faint white spot, smaller than a pencil eraser, dead center. She pressed her thumb to it. "Cold," she said, almost to herself. Then she looked again and frowned. "Huh, it's gone." I swear I saw it fade right there. Not like a bruise or a burn would heal, but like someone clicked it off. They cleared me after 15 minutes, gave me a bottle of warm water and a perfunctory, "take it easy." No one asked how I'd gotten back down from the roof. No one asked why my gloves were wet inside or why the skin of my palm still felt like I'd been holding dry ice. Hours later, after bus evacuations rolled and we were staged for reassignment, I tried to sleep sitting up against a wall. My eyes kept drifting shut, but every time they did, I saw it. Not the arm, not the smoke, just that blue dot in the center of my palm, pulsing slow and deep like a heartbeat you could hold. And the more I saw it, the more I remembered the feel of that grip. Not just the strength, but the way it knew exactly how much to hold, exactly when to release. Like it wasn't saving me so much as testing me. Even now, I can't tell you if it pulled me up because it didn't want me to fall, or because it wanted to see what would happen if I didn't. They moved me to Station 14 the very next morning. Didn't ask, didn't explain, just a clipped phone call from the captain before sunrise. "Pack your gear, transfer orders already signed." I'd barely gotten 3 hours of sleep. My boots were still wet from the night before, turnout pants stiff with soot. The note on my kitchen counter, "Called Joe about the mortgage," was still sitting there from yesterday morning. Somehow it looked older. No one mentioned East 6th. When I checked the incident log, it wasn't there. The only thing close was a line item tagged "Still under investigation." No origin point listed, no preliminary cause. No mention of the roof. In our job, that's not just strange, that's wrong. Fires don't just appear and vanish from the paper, they live there. They get assigned numbers, linked to reports, filed with city records so some lawyer can dig them up 10 years later. When they're not there, it's because someone decided they shouldn't be. 2 nights later, I woke up without knowing why. No dream, no sound from outside. The city's usual night noise, sirens, muffled music from someone's car stereo, the hiss of buses braking at the corner, was gone. The kind of silence that feels staged. It took me a second to realize my right hand was on my chest, palm down right over my heart. The skin under it was cold, not forgot to pull up the blanket cold. Colder than the room, colder than the air I was breathing, colder than anything should be when you've been asleep for hours under 2 layers of blankets. I didn't need to turn on the light to know exactly where the blue dot would be if I looked. Center of my palm, right where it touched me. And for a second, long enough to count, not long enough to be sure I wasn't imagining it, I felt it again. That pulse. Slow, heavy, matching mine until mine was matching it. I wanted to look. I wanted to prove it was there, but part of me, the same part that kept me from telling anyone about the roof, didn't want to see it in the light. Because if I turned on the lamp and it wasn't there, I'd have to admit I was losing it. And if I turned on the lamp and it was there, glowing in the dark, I lay there instead. Perfectly still, hand pressed over my heart like I was holding something in place, my eyes adjusting to the dark until the room was nothing but flat shapes and corners. When the cold finally faded, it didn't leave warmth behind, just absence. And the quiet in the room didn't feel empty. It felt patient, like whatever reached down for me that day hadn't finished deciding. Like it was still somewhere out there, or worse, somewhere closer. And I don't know if it ever will decide. I just know that when I close my eyes, I still feel that grip. Not saving me, not letting me go, just holding on.